Okay, I am having way too much fun playing this build right now. Greatsword Rapier in light armor. I know that we have a pretty heavy range meta in OPR, especially at the moment, and a light armor full melee build kind of seems like maybe not the most fun, but man, this build, excellent damage, excellent mobility. You can just get on top of people. You have so many defensive options to survive. I don't know. I'm just having so much fun playing this. I did just put a build video out for this guy, and I'm still playing it. Yeah, that's how much fun it is. So, without further ado, I've got a few clips in OPR here for you guys. And of course, that build video I mentioned, there's a link to it down below for you guys. And I put a link to a written guide if you want to check that out for this build. Now let's get right into this gameplay. Managed to take down the first guy on the flag, but this second player here is staying right on my tail. And I just kind of used my Rapier cooldowns there just to break enough distance to kind of get my potions back. And then I re-engage with him. I managed to get the counter off of his heavy attack on the hammer. Loving having some freedom on my gear because I was able to get up and get into the Calamity counter in time. And then there is that damage. Just get behind him. Huge damage on the backstab, and he goes down. And a little bit of time goes by, and the archer from earlier ends up coming back. I miss him entirely with that flourish and finish, but I do manage to get that Calamity counter on him. He goes for his knockdown, and as soon as I get up, I hit him with that stagger. And big damage with the Greatsword spin, and then I just try to stay on top of him with the Rapier. He ends up jumping around with the bow, and this is why I love this build so much. I just have so much reach, so much mobility. There is the flourish and finish to get right back on top of that guy again, and then I go for the Calamity counter, actually managing to soak up the gap closer from the Greatsword player that just came in, and he hits me with the stagger before I can get him, and then I'm forced just to retreat a little bit here. Go for the stagger right as he comes around the corner, just so I can get a little bit of healing off of that, and of course, open with that offensive combo, and right away on top of the archer, he tries to go for the stagger shot back, but the grit from flourish and finish prevents me from getting staggered and then allows me to stagger him through that move. So a very nice counter to that in flourish and finish. I really am enjoying this skill on the Rapier Greatsword combo. I think just in general, I'm going to be running this a lot more with Rapier than I have in the past. And here you see some nice cancel windows on flourish and finish as well. If you just cancel the first flourish stun, you can actually come out of it with a dodge or another skill very quickly. So just trying to kind of take advantage of that in this fight as best I can. This guy comes around the corner. Huge damage on him with the Calamity counter. I go for the gap close through to try to get him. And there's flourish and finish again, being that reach, that stagger into the evade light attack to finish him off. And now it's me and this hammer guy again. And this guy has come back for the third time. And he started repairing the wall. I right away try to get on top of him to put some damage in, but he backs up. And this other player here is very aggressive. He actually hits really hard with that Greatsword, so I have to be really careful. There's half my health with that heavy attack. Oh my god. I've been doing a good job avoiding the Greatsword with Rapier as best I can right now. One of the big saving graces, I think, when you fight a weapon like Greatsword and Hammer with something that's fast like Rapier is that you can get in and out of your light attacks and your abilities a lot faster than they can. So it just allows you to kind of stay on top of them and get the better of a lot of those exchanges. I get really good damage into that guy off the flourish and finish. Actually a pretty big crit. But unfortunately, I'm taking a lot of pressure here myself. I do manage to get the stagger on that guy and then try to break a little bit more distance just to get some cover behind the wall here, and the enemy player's chase. I just try to get behind him with the flesh and then into the flourish and finish. I end up missing all of it. And here I make a super critical mistake of putting myself in a very open position on this build. Something you don't want to do. You want to make sure that you stay in that cover as best you can and have options to retreat so you don't get shot down and gang down like that. Moving on to the next fight here, I'm back in the enemy outpost. This is basically all I do in Outpost Rush, and we've got a few enemy players coming towards the flag. I do my best to put some damage into the first guy there. I get some decent damage on him, go back out the door to try to retreat, and then I see a mage come in just right away, turn around, and 2 of the bruisers follow me out. I go for the flesh just to get behind them very fast. I really like doing that when you're getting chased by a couple players. They don't really expect you to get behind them. And then I followed up with the cannon shot on that guy. He actually almost goes down from the combo, and I'm just unable to finish him off because there's just a little bit too much traffic in front of me. And again, they all start charging towards me. I go for the Greatsword gap closer through. I get some decent damage and then try to go for the flesh to get back on top of him. And I end up missing it. And these guys are putting out a pretty decent amount of pressure on me. So I'm just doing my best to kind of kite them out. Thankfully, 2 of them are melee fighters. So as long as I can keep the fire staff player behind that tree, I don't have to worry too much about the fireballs. There, I think a friendly player just sniped one of the enemies. He goes down so fast, and then I get a huge combo on the next player. He goes down as well. Moving on to the last clip I have for you guys. Another fight in OPR, a 3v1. These players end up chasing me, and I try to get a bit of cover from the range players behind that pillar, but not really the best cover that I could get. But I do manage to separate the musket player from the rest of the group, very quickly jump on top of him, and then the flesh for a huge crit to finish him off. And there's the squishy musket player going down. And the hammer player catches me with the stun. I just misread the distance on that. And there's Freedom coming in clutch again, allowing me to escape with the flesh. And then I try to jump on top of the enemy Void Gauntlet Life Staff player. He is throwing down the circles. He's throwing down the heals as well. But one thing that he's doing wrong and that I see him doing is he's blowing that stam bar. So I'm just going to be patient here and try to coax out the stam bar blow. There it is. And then the backstab with the flourish and finish into the poke, and he goes down. I'll let you guys enjoy the last little bit of the clip. If you want to catch me live, there's a link to my Twitch down below. You can check out my website, pvpnewworld.com. It's got written guides to this build and all my other builds. And of course, I'd love to see your clips for the top 5. You can send those to Kristofer at pvpnewworld.com. A quick thank you to our sponsor, ExpressVPN. And of course, a thank you to all of my patrons on Patreon for supporting the show. I hope you guys enjoyed this clip. I know that I've been procrastinating big time with the next Iron Man episode, but it's coming soon. Have a good night, everybody, and I'll see you next time.